Welcome to Happily Holistic. I'm Amy Lee Mercury, and I'm a medical intuitive with 20 years of experience. I've written 15 books on health and wellness. If you've had a medical intuitive session with me, you know that the thoughts and emotions within you, what has been passed down from your ancestors, and everything that surrounds you can impact your well-being. In this podcast, we touch on my favorite ways for you to improve your health and feel more joy. We dive deeply into everything health and wellness with a big dash of spirituality and a sprinkle of business. We spotlight the uplifting and the positive and share the secret ways top wellness authors and celebrities get inspired, stay healthy, and enjoy this beautiful life. I can't wait to get happily holistic with you today. Hello. Welcome to Happily Holistic. I'm so excited to have Cassandra. Oh my gosh, I'm realizing, how do I say your name? Bodzak or Bodzak?
Whichever way is fine. Bodzak is actually the correct pronunciation.
Cassandra Bodzak is here with us today, and I'm excited. We were just chatting, getting ready for our interview, and she goes, "Oh my God, let's do this live!" And I'm like, "Yes!"
We were just hitting it off, riffing about 2020 and all that's kind of made us reflect on, and you were just telling me about going back to your medical intuitive roots.
Yeah. So we were talking about, as women in wellness, business owners, how we were kind of tackling things and editing out what we don't feel like doing anymore, right?
Yeah. Well, I think this year has kind of put an interesting pressure on people, right?
Yeah.
Or kind of brought you to this place where you're like really re-examining your life. And of course, if you're a small business owner, that's gonna be a part of it. But even people, that are listening that have like regular careers and jobs, and I think everything from rethinking like your relationships, rethinking, how you do business, what you want to do, rethinking how you spend your time, rethinking your home environment, where you want to live. So many people have moved this year. There's just been a lot of reflection and a lot of kind of like cutting out what's not aligned that maybe we thought we had to do for whatever societal reason.
Absolutely. Redefining what we want too. And I think that's a theme for everybody. And so we were talking about, Cassandra was talking about how she's created this meditation bundle because she needed it. So tell us about it. You created it for yourself because you need it. I need it. We all need it.
Yes. So I was saying how I've been, meditation has saved my life time and time again. I came to meditation almost a decade ago, and I had what I like to call my eat, pray, love bathroom floor moment. And I found a guided meditation first. That was like my first foray into meditation, which I think is common for a lot of people. It's an easy way to begin, and it holds you. And I've actually found I've learned a lot of different meditation practices over the years. I've done Vedic, I've done Kundalini, I've done Buddhist, I've done all different kinds of, different ways you can connect, right? Yes. And so, but this year it was really interesting. I started really remembering and locking into the power of guided meditations. And I started doing 3 meditations a day. And so I've always done one. And at different points in my life, when things got crazier, I would do more and more and more. Yeah. But I got into this habit of doing a morning meditation, kind of connecting and plugging to my divine source, plugging into my spiritual support squad, like my angels, my guides, my spirit guides, asking them for guidance, asking them for direction, kind of starting the day from that place and starting to take action after receiving that divine download. And then I would do a walking meditation at some point during the day, because I would do some clients, do a podcast interview, whatever I was doing that day. And then eventually, I'm just someone that needs to get outside. I need fresh air. So I would go for a walk, and I felt like usually I would have listened to audiobooks or podcasts or things like that during that walk. But what my body was really craving was more relaxation, was more, So I did a walking meditation, which was essentially me just connecting, of course, with my divine support squad again. And that's like the theme of all my meditations. But then for the walking one, I actually like walk into the future. So I embody my like next level self, like the timeline I'm about to leap into, what I'm kind of calling in and showing up as, and then like bring that into my walk. So I'm kind of like meditatively walking as my future self. And then for PM, I started having, never before in my life, I used to be literally called a sleep monster because I could sleep standing up. There's actually pictures of me sleeping standing up because everybody, my friend, like would just think it was so funny. I was always been a sleeper, so to speak. And this year, 2020, I started getting anxious and not being able to fall asleep at night for like my first time ever. And so I then started doing a meditation before I would go to bed, where I would again come into my heart center, let the energy from my heart center call in my guides. I would lovingly review the day and like mine it for like gold and lessons, and then like decide how I was going to do it differently tomorrow. So anyway, I've been doing this pretty much all year now. I love it. It's been such a game changer for me that I was like, I need to give this to everyone else and make it so that they can just incorporate that in their life. And my hope is that maybe not everyone is going to be as like ham as I am and do all three, but no matter what your schedule is like or what works like, you can find one of the three that kind of resonates with you that you can start incorporating so you can get that momentum of just plugging in every day.
I think that's so huge. And you're giving that, where can they find that? Where do they?
Yeah, it's free. So we'll put a link right below the podcast, and then there is a link in my Instagram bio at Cassandra Bodzak or my TikTok at Cassandra Bodzak. So yeah, you can grab that pretty much. I'm sure. Yeah. But I just think it's like, I think meditation is a non-negotiable.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. I love that you do that. Sort of manifesting work while you walk. I often do it at night before bed, and I kind of like lay there and I usually say it out loud, like, I had such a great meeting with my editor at XYZ publisher, whatever I'm manifesting, I say it in first person past tense, like it already happened.
I like that.
And I plug in, I call it turning on the switch and plugging into the field. So I feel like this field, and I feel it, and I also feel, this is from my guidance, so this was where we were going before we said, wait, record it. With my guidance teams, it's been my job for 20 years as a medical intuitive to talk to people's spirit guides. So this is like way of life for me. So one of the things my guides always tell me is nature is abundance. And so as we, you are nature as well. Like we can pretend that we're closed in by these walls and we're just, in our little box of our own creation. No, we're really not. We are nature, and our inner nature is not really tamed. We can pretend we're taming it, but really it's wild. And that can be good. Sometimes the unknown side of the wild is natural disasters and things that we're trying to not get rained on and stuff like that and be cold. But so because we're nature, nature is abundance, and then the field is part of nature and everything. I feel I turn on the switch that plugs me into the field, and then I say my things first person past tense, whatever they are.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I think, like my version of that is connecting to my divinity, right? I feel like when we connect to like the divine, I believe that like, similar to what you were saying, like everything's nature and we're a part of nature. Yeah. I believe like everything's divine and we're divine. Yeah. So everything's divine. Yeah. And so when I plug into that, I would also say I plug into that field, right? And when you plug into that field, then you're entering that space of creation mode, right? And like the morning and the evening, Oh, I'm totally blanking on who writes about this. There's a great book about this, but Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard he talks about this, like how right before we go to bed and right when we wake up are such opportune times to manifest, because we're like in that sleepy haze between awake and asleep, and we can really tap into our subconscious. You know, so I love that it's like you like to do it out loud. For me, a lot of times what I do is I like to just visualize it happening.
I do that too. When I say it, I picture it down to like, what outfit do I want to be wearing, kind of thing.
Absolutely. I'm like all the details. Yeah. And I think that that's so important to get into that habit, because it's like I used to be a dancer when I was younger. I did ballet for like 15 years. And one of the things that dancers do, or I'm sure sometimes athletes do this too, you kind of like go over the moves in your head before the recital, right? And you notice that if you even just like I remember I used to be like sitting on the bus or like in class or whatever, and I would just go over in my head, but in my head I'd be dancing. And then the next time I actually got on the floor, I was so much better at the routine. And we can do that for literally everything in our life. Yes, you know, it's so powerful.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Absolutely. And we did just start riffing, didn't we?
Yeah.
We were just like talking, so we're like, let's just record it. And
let's record, because we feel like this might be juicy for them to hear.
Yeah, especially because a lot of the people who listen to us may be, you know, business owners just like us, and, you know, really, regardless of whether or not one owns a business, we're all typically, you know, I think it's human nature to be kind of trying to move forward and create more in our lives. You know, hopefully we're also present and happy with what we have, of course, but it's human nature. So I think,
of course.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's trying to reach a new pinnacle, right?
Well, I think it's also part of our soul's journey here. Like, we came here to grow and expand and experience what it was like to be at our personal full wingspan, to be at our fullest expression in the world. And so for me and you, that may come through in our business. For other people, that might come through in how they are with their family, or in their hobbies, or in their wellness, or how they decorate their home. But like, I really believe that all of our like kind of desires or goals or dreams, they're all really divinely planted seeds that we're meant to experience. So there's this, I feel like the natural human urge for striving is really just the soul's natural urge for growth.
I think that's true, you know, and I teach shamanism. I've taught shamanism for 20 years. So I teach people how to talk to their spirit guides. And we do it through shamanic work and through something like automatic writing is what I usually call it. You know, we've heard of it, spirit writing, stuff like that.
Yeah, I call it channeled writing. Same thing.
Yeah, same thing. We'll be right back after this short break. Hey there, it's Amy Lee Mercury. People have been asking what to expect when you book a medical intuitive session with me. Whether you have had a medical intuitive session before or are completely new to the idea, working with a medical intuitive may be right for you if you are looking to uncover the root cause of one or more mild to moderate health concerns. Working with me is not designed to take the place of seeing an integrative doctor or your chosen health practitioner. The way a session begins is you get to share your questions and concerns. After that, I say an opening invocation, which is adapted from something shared with me by my late medicine teacher about 25 years ago. It invites your highest vibrational spirit guides to participate in the session. These may be ancestors, angelic guides, or other benevolent non-physical beings. After the invocation, I let you know which guides want to talk with you and what they have to say. We address your questions and concerns and find resolutions and answers. If there are health issues, we find the root causes of the issues. To learn more about my medical intuitive work, check out the Work With Me page on amyleemercury.com.
And we do a Dharma Journey in the intermediate class. And that's one of the things that it's been really neat to watch 20 years of people's journeys, because I hear about, they share their journeys, the students share their journeys. So I've heard 20 years of people's journeys, and with the Dharmic journeys, the Dharma, the life's purpose, that's traditionally a Buddhist concept. Those Dharmic goals are our heart's desires in a lot of ways. And I feel like our heart's desires, whether they involve career or something else, they are planted within us, whether it's by the divine or by nature or by ourselves, our higher selves, to propel us forward. So we do continue to evolve and continue to expand the scope of experience we have in life. We have the free will choice whether we decide to follow all of those heart's desires and all the different sort of strands or trajectories upon which they could take us. But I totally agree with that. I think that that's a really good way of putting it, how you stated it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we get to be, like you were referencing before, like we get to be happy along the way.
Yeah.
And when we're like happy along the way, it actually goes a lot better for us.
It's more pleasant, right?
It's, well, A Course in Miracles, I'm a teacher of A Course in Miracles. And for anybody who doesn't know A Course in Miracles, it's a metaphysical text about, rewiring your brain from fear to love. Yeah. And one of the lessons in A Course in Miracles is essentially don't put your goals before God, right? Yeah. And what it means by that is, when it says God, right, or salvation or heaven, which is all like A Course in Miracles terminology, what it really means, don't put your goals before your peace. Yeah. Don't put your goals before your happiness.
Absolutely.
Like you have the opportunity in every moment to choose to be happy, right? Yeah. In every moment, there's going to be something we've done and something we'd like to do, right? But you get to choose to be happy in that moment while you're on your soul's journey, while you're breaking out of your comfort zone, while you're, striving for whatever you're striving for. Yeah. And when we're in that space, I would say that that's also when we're more, tapped in or, into the field, whatever you want to say. We're in
flow.
We're in flow. We're really like connected to that divine guidance or that spirit guidance that's coming through for us.
I think that's true. And sometimes part of, that Dharma or that heart's desire might be just to experience joy and be present with what we have. It doesn't mean that we're always like type A after goal, that will, gratify us. And I think that's the distinction, is it's not about we don't feel worthy, so we have to chase a goal. It's about we're seated and present within ourselves, and a heart's desire is born out of our Dharma that we feel compelled or drawn towards, and it continues to bring us on a path of joy and fulfillment. It is our free will if we choose to follow it. But we kind of might be, neither better nor worse, but maybe more pleasantly served by following it than by just, staying wherever we are sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that it's about just detaching our worthiness or our wonderfulness, whatever we want to call it, from that goal, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the, old saying, hopefully, like, I'm worthy, I'm amazing, I have a wonderful life, and I have a fiance, right? Yes. And I love him and he's great and we have a wonderful life together, right? But our wonderful life together doesn't negate the fact that I was already worthy and lovable and having a wonderful life alone, right? And it's like same thing with that with goals, right? It's like, just because, let's say, whatever, you've done whatever you've already done in business, right?
Yes.
And it's been wonderful and epic. And at one point, the thing you did in business was like your big goal, right?
Exactly.
And now you're looking at what the next mountain is, right? Because that's just the nature of expansion. And it's about being able to sit and saying, even without all of this, even if this all disappeared tomorrow, I would still be worthy. I would still be wonderful. I would still be completely lovable and valid, right? And all of this is fun, right? All of this is like self-expression, is how I like to, I had this one yoga class a while ago, years ago, and I'll never forget the beginning of class, the teacher started with saying how, what a prized incarnation it was to come to Earth. Right? And she was talking about, she's kind of saying how, like, of all, and who knows what this is, but for me it really like sat with me well. She was like, of all the places, of all the ways you could incarnate, like, how cool is it that you get to be a human on Earth during this time? Right? And thinking about it as getting to like squeeze the juice out of this human experience. Right? And when I think about that, it like changes the way I kind of am.
Doesn't it? My guides, my sort of team of guides that I've worked with for 25 plus years, it was a theme for a long time where they would say, look at all the souls lined up to get in a body down here. Like, this is a privilege, because sometimes we're like, what the heck? Why did I choose to come be here? Especially amid whatever's going on or whatever. And they said, well, but if you take this expanded perspective, we're going to show you there's like a line out the door of souls trying to get in here, because it's a unique experience to have the physical system, the sensory system, the emotional system, and the ability to tap into non-duality, that which is beyond. To have that experience all in one package, it's pretty unique. And so there's a big line. It's not the only place where it happens, quote unquote. Earth isn't the only place where it happens, but it's a unique privilege. So appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you think of it that way, then all of a sudden you're like, when people ask me, why I want to get married or want to have kids or want to write books or all the things, right, that I do, it's like, that's a cool ass human experience.
Exactly.
I want to try it out. I can float along in the infinite abyss for the rest of my life. Whatever. But in this one, I want to. Exactly. I've done that. That's great.
While you're
That's
here
too. But right I'm here, let me play out with this stuff. Let me play with, like, how does this body dance? How does this body react to different foods? Like, and when you're in this, like, that mindset of it really does kind of shift the way you look at things.
I think it really does. I love the deep thoughts we've riffed on. We had no plan, but we didn't even make a plan. We just turned on record and said, let's see what shakes loose. And here we are.
I love it. Well, if you have any questions now, I guess we can...
I know.
I'll let you start the interview.
Now we're almost done. No, I think this is fun. This is a fun way to do it. I do want to tell our listeners that your book is called Eat with Intention, since I didn't read a bio or do anything, since we just did. Where can they find you? I know they can find you on Instagram and TikTok. What's your website? Let's give them some info.
Yeah. I love it. So first, so my book is Eat with Intention. It's recipes and meditations for a life that lights you up.
Love.
And that is about your earth suit journey, and connecting to your physical being and using it not only to really establish what works for your body and like break out of any of the old paradigms of like diets or labels and stuff like that, and really have that deep connection with your earth suit. And it has recipes and meditations to explore like different concepts, as well as to use your body as a, kind of a receiver of divine wisdom as well.
Yeah.
And so that's the book. It's available everywhere books are sold. My kind of biggest work right now that's super exciting is called Divinely Design Your Life, the Process.
Ooh.
And it connects with a lot of those meditations where it's actually this like 12-step spiritual foundation to become a conscious co-creator of your life, to really tap into that spiritual guidance, to heal your fears, heal wounds, to see life through a divinely designed perspective, to a lot of the stuff that we were just riffing on. Like, what is it, like, how does your whole life change when you start honoring the fact that you're a divine being and you have divine support and guidance available to you, right? And that everything that's happening, you incarnating wasn't an accident. You showing up the way you did wasn't an accident. These things that kind of happen in your life, or what desires are, they're not an accident. So it goes on to that, and kind of, that's like that's my main teaching and my main learning that I do. And like the free meditations, like we talked about, people can check those out. And the link below for free. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on all the social medias. Everything's just my name, Cassandra Bodzak. My website is also CassandraBodzak.com, and DivinelyDesignYourLife.com is also the website for all that other stuff as well. So
all kinds of things, stuff.
All the good things.
All the goods. All the goods are there. We need to check them out. Yay.
I love it.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here, Cassandra. I feel like we could riff for another hour.
I know.
We're going to have you back on the program.
That was so fun.
Continue. Yes.
I love it. So first of all, what is your handle?
My handle is at Amy Lee Mercury and that's my Instagram. And my website's amyleemercury.com. I'm pretty easy to find.
And what is your main focus now? Because I know you said you've done shamanism and spiritual intuition and all these things.
Well, I've written 15 books on lots of wellness topics.
God,
so
you're a beast, Amy.
I'm kind of a spaz. So the latest book
is not the word I would give it.
100 Days to
Here, I'm going to record this. Tell me about your latest book.
We're still recording too. I'm going to tell you all about it. I didn't turn it off. I didn't get a chance to.
Okay.
We're going. Okay. So
me and Amy just ripped on an awesome podcast episode of Happy Holistic.
Yes.
But tell me about your book that just came out. Now we're turning the camera on her.
Yeah, my 100 Days to Calm is my newest book. It's a guided journal. So it's just kind of helping us work through the stressors of life and how we can just take a really consistent, systematic approach. So that's my 15th book. So I've written about all these like health and wellness topics, but I'm actually a medical intuitive, and my job is to talk to people's spirit guides. And that's what I do usually. And I teach people how to talk to their spirit guides. That's the core of it. But I'm a very cosmic chick, I'll tell you what.
But she's a very cosmic chick. I can't wait for you guys to listen to this podcast episode, because we literally just like riffed. It was awesome.
Really riffed. We're still riffing. And I want to thank everyone for listening to Happily Holistic. Thank you for indulging Cassandra and I in our long extended riff. We had a lot of fun. Thank you for being here, Cassandra.
Yes.
Thanks for listening to Happily Holistic with me, Amy Lee Mercury. You can find out more about the show on amyleemercury.com on the podcast page. Please stop by your favorite social platform and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear how you liked today's show and what topics you'd like me to cover in the future. Come find me on Instagram and Facebook at amyleemercury.com. If you would like to see what a medical intuitive session with me is all about, hop on over to the Work With Me page on amyleemercury.com. Until next time, stay happily holistic.